I am the Highland Scribe, Cheryl L. Hudson, storyteller. I am about to begin. Are you ready? I am the Highland Scribe, scribe to the stones, to the winds, to the bloodlines that walk unseen. Come closer, closer still. The fire's warm, but this tale tonight, this tale runs wild. There are tales that the land remembers, long after man is forgot. Stories that drift through heather and hollow, rise from the bog when the moon is high and when the veil is thin. And if you've the gift, the listening mind, and an open heart, you might catch one still whispering through the ash branches, the curling smoke of Glen Bray. This, well, this is such a tale. They did not speak her name. No for fear, but mere of reverence. She was a Leannan Sìth, one of the sea folk, a fae who was born of moonlight and longing and mourning. The poets said her eyes held the dusk between stars. The druids said she walked the edges of dreams. The farmers, well, they said she was a curse. But the bards, well, the bards said she was inspiration made of flesh. To love her was to burn brighter than any soul dared. And to lose her, well, that was to be hollowed out like a winter log. Now she did not take lovers cruelly, but out of necessity, for she was bound to longing, and those she kissed would write, would sing, and would create, and then fade into beauty's ashes. It was her way. This was her curse. So when she was seen near Glenbrae, barefoot in the dew, singing songs that made the wolves weep, fear stirred in the hearts of men. They hung iron upon their doors and warned their children. They said her name in bitterness, or not at all. But not all feared her. You see, there was a man named Angus, who was not a Glenbrae man. He was born of wind and wanderers, a talebearer, a hearth singer, with laughter like sunlight through the leaves. His mother had known the hills, walked barefoot on ley lines, and whispered to the stone circles, and watched omens in the firelight. She passed that gift to him, to listen, So it was no accident that he found her. It was the night of Samhain, the spirit's night. Doors between worlds swing open, and some say they swing open with silver hinges. While the villagers clutched their charms, Angus followed this song, too sad to be immortal. He found her beneath a hawthorn tree, starlight in her hair, voice trembling with centuries. She turned to flee, but he did not flinch. He did not kneel. He smiled. He asked her her name, not to bind her, but to know her. Gods help us, she told him. No mortal has ever been gifted her name and lived. But she whispered it like a promise. And so the mists curled around them, hiding their hearts from the cruel world that lay outside. They met by moonlight, where no boots trampled the moss, where the air hummed with old knowing. She showed him secret groves, stones that breathed, songs that even the river had forgotten. And he gave her something the Fae had never known. Gentleness. He didn't seek to capture her in verse. He brought her laughter, quiet. A whistle carved from Rowan, played poorly, but proudly. They made love like wild things, old souls. And the land, well, some say that the land held its breath, because it was winter. But the seasons would not come. Frost fled the hills. Snow refused to lie on the ground. The villagers noticed this. Not just him, but the weather. It felt wrong somehow. They knew something was wrong. And Angus, though he laughed with them at the hearth, he knew in his heart he was still a traveller, still not one of them. They called it an enchantment, witchery, light. And so, as they had always done, with fear came a scapegoat. They gathered with their torches and their blades and their iron, and they headed to the grove. She felt them coming, as all Fae do. The earth cried out to her. The trees Well, the trees tried to stop them. But fear is allowed. They found her, hand in his, eyes wild with knowing. He stood before them, not with sword, but truth. She is no demon. She is mine, and I am hers. But truth does not care. And love does not always shield. The blade struck deep. He did not cry out. He only turned and whispered her name one final time. Not to bind, not to break, but to honour. He fell, his blood soaking the grove. And the Leannan Sìth, she screamed, not in rage, but in heartbreak. Heartbreak so deep that storms still carry her cry to this day. She could have cursed them. She could have cursed them all. She could have torn Glenbrae from the map and drowned it in sorrow. But instead she went to his mother. The women of old blood and older roads who held a babe in her arms, Chrissy, Angus's sister, eyes wide without knowing. The Leannan Sìth knelt before her and gave her a bottle. It was a large bottle, dark, crowned with gold. The liquid seemed to be shimmering and moving inside, like twilight cotton glass. This is not for power, she said, not for revenge, but for refuge. As she handed it to Angus's mother, she had one request. Keep it safe, pass it only on to those who listen, mother to son, father to daughter, only to those who are the teller of tales, only the ones who are the keeper of memory. Do not break the seal, unless the world forgets how to listen. And then she was gone. Winter returned, and the tale became a whisper beneath roots. And now, well, I found the bottle. Not in a museum, not in a ruin, but where it was always meant to be, passed down, voice to voice. It called to me, you see. It called because I listened. Now, I am no bard. I am no prophet. I am the keeper. And the shadows, well, the shadows are stirring again. But not with fire, but forgetting. And if the time comes, and the roads are lost, if stories vanish like they were never here, then I will break this seal. And she will come. The Leannan Sìth. Not as terror, not as a muse, but of a guardian of what matters most: love, grief, and truth. Now, it was passed down in the Stuart line. And I am the keeper of stories. I am the storyteller. And I will tell this tale until the land remembers it again. Because as long as this story lives, so does she. Now, I am the Highland Scribe. Scribe to the stones, to the winds, to the bloodlines that walk unseen. Sleep well, wanderers. And I will see you next week, when the fire's lit, for another tale unheard of before.